Swans 27 points in front at half-time at ANZ Stadium, and one thing about the reigning premiers that wherever they are at the halfway stage of the year, they're only going to get stronger when Tippett comes into their side in the back half, and the man himself is down with Cameron Mooney.
Kurt, obviously the toughest part of your career coming off that summer. How's the move been to Sydney now that you're here?
Oh, it's been a fantastic move. I've really enjoyed myself. Got through the pre-season really well, got to know the players. It's tough now sitting back and watching them for the first 11 weeks.
Well, we've spoken about the 11 weeks, so you've got 10 to go. What do you do with yourself now? What's your training program?
Oh, just relax. No, obviously training really hard, did the full pre-season with the players, probably had a couple of niggles after that, so I'm about to join full training again shortly.
And in training, have you obviously been working with Mummy, Goodsy, Sammy Reid? Like, how's it all going, I guess? Are you fitting in pretty well with it?
Yeah, it's been fantastic. You know, I get to come up against players like Shane Mumford, Pikey in the ruck, and then Teddy and Heath Grundy down back. It's been great for my development.
And what about the academy? You've been doing a little bit of work there with the Swans?
Yeah, you know, that's something new. Learning a few new skills and being able to help the younger players. And, you know, if I can reinforce the things that, you know, can help them, it's also going to help me down the track as well.
Well, mate, just think you've only got 10 weeks to go. Just relax and you'll be out there flying, mate.
Oh, look, I'm trying my best. I'm going to need a seatbelt to stop me jumping the fence.
Good on you, mate.
Thanks very much.
Thanks, Moons. Well, there's a man, Josh Kennedy, who know what a season he had last year, best and fairest All-Australian, but he's had the equal most contested possessions in a half of football since they started collecting that data in 1999, champion data.
He's just so hard to bring to ground. I mean, he's one of the best balanced midfielders I've ever seen. He just cannot be tackled to ground. His ability to get his hands clear Dermot as well. We've seen him had 12 handballs and 16 contested possessions.
And going back to Hawthorn next year?
I think he's just re-signed for 4, actually.
Oh, it doesn't matter.
Not the most graceful way to start the second half with that skew with bounce.
A good thing for the Giants too was Davis is back on. Look, must have just jarred his back because he's down there. He's down in defensive 50. So a bit of a worry there. Looked like we might have lost him for the Giants. So that's
when they come off like that, that's normally not just for the rest of the game, but a few after.
And it did coincide with them leaking a few goals, didn't it?
They did fatigue though the other boys down there. So.
Well, it would have been a huge loss if he had been taken out of that defence. They've struggled against it all. So if he had been out of there for the second half, it would have been a massive loss.
Get some early thoughts from you too, Moons, in just a moment. But Jack taking the Swans forward, although not for long.
Buggy.
And did well. Canelli gets the ball to boot somehow, and it works out quite well for Sumner. And the ball out of bounds. Moons.
Yeah, thanks, Hutto. Just quickly, Scully has been reported down here. I just spoke to a couple of the umpires. And Derm, honestly, if you're getting reported for that, you and I would have had 100 weeks.
I do hold the record, man. So, yeah, don't give me any more.
A bit of pushing and shoving. Mumford the tap. Giles was able to read it straight off the hand. Shield, good supply. Kennedy, hurried kick. Anything could happen. And Cameron smart. How smart? It's a ball. He reckons it's a goal. The goal umpire, though.
I'm not sure a player that's kicked one of them, Hutto, thought it was a point, did they?
No, probably not.
3 of them went up.
They did all go up.
The whole slips cordon went up.
Look, it looked close.
It came clearly off the pad, but they all went up. It was day 4 in India.
Well, it wasn't exactly the Indian slips cordon.
No.
They go up for everything.
No, they don't have to. Good enough as it is.
Pretty hard when you don't keep your bails on.
Grundy to the wing. Reid with a big one-on-one on Davis. Jack gets away from Treloar just. Reid squeezed the kick out. Hampton was in prime position. You could see that Bolton knew it.
Let's have a look at the time Scully won coming from the first quarter. Reece Shaw goes to pull away. I don't know. I don't know that he actually got him.
If he did,
how could that be reportable?
If he did do it deliberately, gee, he did it cleverly.
He disguised it very well.
Didn't appear to be, did it?
We just saw Curtly Hampton go for a contest before. Too often today I've seen him fight for the rear position and allow the body of the Sydney player to keep him away from the drop of the ball. Has to actually get proactive and work out where the ball's going. Here he goes now.
Short of Melchesky.
That's a beautiful kick from
Bolton, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Great depth from the kick, and Bolton was in the best spot. He's kicked it up right on line for goal. Oh, is there anything he can't do, Josh Kennedy?
Dropped it.
Well, and then he still gets it again and still gets it to Reid.
Good pressure from the Giants. Oh,
Jack.
I was going to say it was tapped out from the Giants boy to Kieran Jack, nearly cost him. But no, really good pressure down there for the defenders.
Fair torpedo out of there too for Giles. and escapes Sumner.
Gonna have to chase this one up now, Gilesy.
There's Kennedy. Oh, geez. Yeah, just dropped it on the way down.
Cerno tablet, you get them.
Now down. Here's McVeigh. And Mumford just wheels around.
Purdy's still dirty on that.
He claims he didn't mark it.
He's got fair claims.
Tom Scully darting through the middle.
Actually, Tom Scully could come into the game in the second half. He's such a good endurance athlete. He's one of the GWS boys who will run this game out. He's got a good tank.
Off the boot.
Yeah, you're right, Dermot. He's one that they won't have to worry about in terms of fitness. He'll just keep playing away.
Yep. He's covering some Ks here, Big Gilesy.
He gets the tap down to Cornelio.
Oh, good touch on the back there. Patton had to come through and make sure that they tackled him and steamroll him.
Jack.
Oh, that's off the boot.
Almost on the full too, wasn't it?
Was it Kieran Jack that ran down Cornelio?
Let's have a look. Yep. Oh, I tell you what, he's tapped him on the boot.
That's the old rugby league ankle tap.
That is, now if there's a report, that's a deliberate one.
Melcheski fires it out.
That is a deft touch. Love to look at that again.
Let's get another look at that.
Here it is again.
Watch him slap the back of the right foot. He did
too.
A trip.
How did the umpire miss that?
What are you looking at?
Well, he didn't trip him up, you said. What it did was stop him kicking the ball, though, didn't it?
Oh, Gary Feeler. You might be feeling your way up the country next week.
Okay. Jack kicked it back to the middle. Comes to an end there, though. Davis. Cameron.
Overcooked it.
And it comes to Sumner, who locks it off the boot.
Yeah, well, it's a nice front and square there. And well done by Davis, who just got around Reid there. Probably a little bit too easy. And then launched one. Here it is here. He was goal side, Reid, but just let him get around. Well done, good kick. I think it's Nick Smith that came off Sumner. So normally Nick Smith's a very reliable defender. Yeah. Will stay with his man. But in that case, he just let him go. Took a bit of licence, Nick Smith. And it's a good finish by Sumner.
Playing that forward role, defensive forward, but also trying to sneak in for a goal or two. Beautiful afternoon into evening to watch footy. We've got a good contest, 20 points the difference. Reid, Hanbury fires out the handball to Goods. It looked like he was conjuring something up, but he couldn't quite get it all together.
Yeah, he just needed to put it on the boot then, Goodsy.
So that's good work, good hands.
Good running a couple of times to release the handball.
This is what Jeremy Cameron has to do. He has to make sure his man charges up and follows him up like that. Now he can turn and go. And watch him at the top of the screen. He's got to scamper in and beat his man in.
Bug.
Oh, that ain't great, Buggy.
Cornelio had to run around it a bit just to track it down, but he's done that well and escaped with conviction into the middle to Ward. And they've found a path towards goal here through Kennedy.
Now Cameron's got space out on in the pocket if he wants to go out there.
Oh. Instead, it's the hard-leading Dean Brogan who didn't mark it, but he was able to deal it out pretty well. Unfortunately, now the numbers are with the Swans. They group together nicely. McVeigh didn't like what he saw ahead.
He should have gone for a tap on the back of the foot as he kicked it.
They were screaming for deliberate there.
That swing actually helped McVeigh because there was nothing up the line. If he had kicked it where he was actually heading, it would have gone straight to the Giants. But the swing helped the Swans there a bit.
Well, there's a wrestle between Pike and Giles. Hanbury hampered. Sumner again just buzzing around. Oh, free kick to Reid.
Kieran Jack getting busy this quarter. 5 possessions already. Treloar 3 and Cornelio 3. And Giles, as we thought, just coming into it a bit more. He's got 3 in this limited time.
O'Keefe's got away. Ward not conceding the free.
Good
hands. Yeah, it was, wasn't it?
Just clever. Knew his man was out there and had to get it to him in one motion. Now, this is what Swans do so well, Ruzi. They spread and they can actually, therefore, give themselves a little bit of time to hit the target up, which they end up not doing.
Yeah, bad kick. Was it Melcheski?
He missed it through the middle.
Yep.
And now Scully has got Cameron in his sights. So close. Oh, he's not happy. thumped the fence.
It's just belted the fence down there, boys.
The game is littered with little players getting injured from stupid things like that. Breaking hands and fingers. I'm not sure how hard the contact was. The Swans fans laughed at that, didn't they? Here's Kennedy again. Back out to the wing. Now there's one extra giant just behind him, Plowman, and there he is about to be used. And he lets go before he was going to be smothered. Gets it in deep. 3 Swans converge on the ball.
Well done, Giles. A 1 on 3 then. He's held it in the area, but Swans got the numbers. This is what their slingshot for. They've got to run it out from here because they're outnumbered ahead of the footy. Hence Hanbury hanging onto it. Good lead.
Well, it's smart, isn't it, to leave an extra bloke back when the Swans are playing just to stop that slingshot.
Yeah, you do. You have to. You don't want them to get you up, particularly Jeddah. They've done a pretty good job on Jeddah today, just controlling that run you mentioned, Derm, because they do like to get you up the field and then turn you around. So at this stage, they haven't been able to get that sort of slingshot game style going.
Just Moons, just for the next minute or so, can you just keep an eye on Teddy Richards? He looks like he's not running all that freely. He's down the line here. He's going to go against Giles on the long kick.
Well, Patton just held on to Grundy for a while. The umpire didn't spot that. Melcheski busy again.
Oh,
he's saved by a shoelace there.
Watch Razor. Razor had the whistle up to the mouth. He was ready. Here it is here. You just talked about it, Hutto.
Yep.
The slingshot over the top and just a bad bounce. But you got McGlynn inside forward 50 by himself, and that's just a poor kick from Hanbury.
And now Sumner can take the Scully kick. But what can he do with it? He has to go either to Patton or just put the brakes on.
The top kick
goes for the top to try and give everyone an opportunity to get there, and Giles does.
Well done by Grundy.
Boy,
Giles had Melcheski absolutely done there, and Grundy just came in with the fist there.
He went for the chest mark. I reckon it just got him on the collarbone, and they bounce off there. Clever tap.
It was.
Once again, Scully finding the footy. He's just able to find a few more legs at this point in time.
Whitfield knew that he had to dispose of it quickly, so it's hacked into the 50. Tough for anyone to mark in that circumstance. McVeigh, Scully's starting to have an influence, and so is the zippy little Sumner, who can stroll in.
Swannies are making some errors. We saw McVeigh there, just a fumble. We've seen some missed kicks through the midfield. We thought the Giants would get tired, but the Swans have looked pretty sloppy in this second half.
What is evident, and I think their class will reign through, Rusi, is that we said before the game, they're 2 weeks behind everybody else, which is a massive head start you give somebody. You go deeper into September, you start 2 weeks later.
No, you're right. I mean, they've started probably a month behind the Giants, so it is significant, and we're probably seeing the effect of that now. They're just not quite as clean. They're starting to make some errors, some kicking errors, some fumbles.
They haven't scored in this quarter.
No, that's right.
So Curly Hampton did really well then. Didn't panic. Could get the ball back here.
He might need to, because the Giants were one handball away from disaster, weren't they? But they managed to keep it going, and now it's in the back.
That was a terrific chase from Jude Bolton.
Wasn't it?
Yeah. Just put enough pressure on Davis to muff the kick, and Mumford a nice another long bomb in.
And Reid couldn't quite get there. Oh, that was high, I thought. No.
Dermy, just watching Teddy down here, he has got a little bit of a limp, and I'd suspect that's just from the ankle that he had from last year. Maybe it's just a bit of a carry-on from that.
Jeremy Cameron just feeling the knuckles of that right hand, which he gave a punch into the fence with when he dropped that mark. Good swing.
Oh, what about that from a manoeuvre? They reckon it's touch, but it's not. It's a goal.
Great agility, Hutto, there, from just spun on a dime as the ball. It was really Swans made something out of absolutely nothing there, but I suppose that's why a lot of coaches don't mind those forward 50 stoppages. We can see here, Pikey just grabs out of the ruck, just smart. Look at this, spins right around, and that's just pure talent to be able to take that ball, spin around on the right foot and kick a snap goal. So the Swans needed that, but created something out of nothing.
So
Jeremy Cameron.
Here's the punch again. And then,
He's got his hand on it.
I tell you, if you're a coach, you'd be nice and dirty if you broke his hand then, missed 6 or 8 weeks.
Oh, great tap.
Or just trying
good tackle.
Barge his way through, but there's no outcome for him. Scully, he's just had a terrific third quarter. Bangs it up again. Away from Giles. Smith. Cameron's out there.
See, he's so good at when the ball's on the ground, following it up, Jeremy Cameron.
And he doesn't mind getting to his partner in crime either. And Treloar's on the end. He's had a terrific game as well.
We mentioned Jeremy Cameron. He's so good on the ground. I want you to take a look at Patton when he grabs the ball. As I made mention earlier as well, Ruzi, he takes tiny little steps, and that's how you balance up so well. I mean, he turns on a dime here. You watch it. I mean, this well done by Jeremy Cameron here. Well by Tom Scully having a very good third quarter. Cameron just keeps the ball alive. He's very good at patting the ball out and keeping it alive. And you watch Patton turn around with small steps.
It's also centre clearances killing that we talked at half-time about what John Longmire wouldn't have been happy with, and they got smashed in centre clearances in the first quarter, and another centre clearance results in a Giants goal. Great follow-up by Treloar to kick the goal.
Kennedy's clearance not having much of an impact, and they've still got to go again, the Swans. And Parker left it behind. Smith went to ground. Treloar likewise couldn't
hold it in. The umpire might.
Yep.
Yeah, just unlucky there. That's the one where the ball rolls back underneath you. You're supposed to, technically you are supposed to knock it back out, but a bit stiff there, Green.
Hasn't been his day. He's felt close attention from Ryan O'Keefe.
Oh, good spotter.
See, that's just
kick to the wrong team then.
That's just a blaze from Ryan O'Keefe. Just a hit and hope, really.
So the margin 19. Very important next 5 or 6 minutes if they can hang with them, maybe sneak another goal. Given that they are a bit behind in their preparation, the Swans, who knows what might happen in the last quarter. O'Keefe, Roberts-Thompson, not very scientific kick out of there. Thump back in from Ward. Shaw, he's still full of burns, but just to try and shape the kick to get a contest ahead, and he couldn't.
There's not a lot of system now coming out of defence for the Swans, is there? It's just really get it and kick it as far as you possibly can.
As they've seen the big fella Mumford, and now this will really suit Cameron. Or maybe not that well.
He's going to try and mark his own kick. Not paid.
He probably had a bit more time and space there, Derm. I agree with you. It looked like it was absolutely ready-made for Cameron because he's got good agility and good speed. But he didn't really back himself there. I thought he might have been able to turn Teddy around there.
Well, Brogan hitting it down with purpose.
That was a good tap. So hard to get a snap away. Most teams you can just get boot to ball, but Sydney Swans maul this.
Treloar, Parker. Patton goes over the top a little.
Now that's, you know what, he's given away a free kick there. And if you're 105 kilos, if you're going to give away a free kick, give away a big one.
It's a good one to give away, Derm, isn't it? Just throw your authority around a bit.
Yep.
Just let everyone know I'm 105 kilos. I'm going to probably hurt you if you come near me.
Yeah, you want to drop to the ground in front of me again, well, 105 will go through a knee. And Timmy Moore's down on the right-hand side of the screen there in that contest.
Well, again, Pikes has kicked it high in hope more than anything. Plowman's been able to gather it in. Bug, Cornelio has been impressive too. Hoskin Elliott back across half-back through Plowman.
He's a little bit dizzy down here, boys. He's just coming off now for a bit of a rest.
Down the line goes Hoskin Elliott.
A lot of crumbing ability in there.
Was it 11-5 inside 50s to GWS this quarter? So we talked about the Swans and maybe their conditioning as well. I know we've talked a lot about that with, you see the crash there going in. We talked a lot about it with the Giants, but we knew that the Swans had come in underdone, and they actually look pretty tired at this stage of the game. There's still another quarter and a half to go.
Beautifully rowed.
He needed reinforcement. He got it. Parker initially, and Hanbury and Bolton, and Parker again. Deep one-on-one. He's just feeling for it down there. It was Marty Matnett.
Oh, look out.
Look at Jetta come from the clouds.
That's the worst spot you can be in if you're a young player, isn't it? With Lewis Jetta running.
Foot race.
Foot race.
I thought Cyril Rioli was about as quick a player as I've ever seen, and he held him at bay all around the wing in the last Saturday of September.
He's got an extraordinary ability, Jets, just to run about a yard ahead of the bloke following him. Doesn't matter how quick he is.
Kennedy. And a couple of Giants there.
Yeah.
Plowman. And Davis. So they've kicked 2-2 to 1-1 for the quarter. And the margin stands at 20 points at the moment. Still 7.5 minutes of pretty critical playing time remaining in this third quarter.
Is that Razor again? No. Yeah, what's happening is Callum Ward, I think, is trying to get to Joey Kennedy and done a pretty good job on him at 3 disposals. And O'Keefe and Kennedy are trying to work together.
Hampton.
See the sidestep ability of Hampton there. Yeah. He's beautiful the way he does that, but there's certain areas of his game he lets himself down with.
Yeah, look, he is the sort of kid you think's going to have really good composure at some stage and think he could be that real running defender that can come out and spot up targets. But at this stage, he's just probably a little bit young in his career and he's a little bit panicky at the moment.
Richards, he set sail again. Oh, from the side! Oh. Spectacular. The Fosby flop over the top.
That is a great mark and a great landing, Hutto. You're right. Absolutely spectacular mark.
There was no room a second ago. The last contest that went in, he got bodied and never got into the contest above the pack in the air. This time he got a clean run at it. The one thing he can't do to Reid is just give him a clean run because he's got a great pair of hands.
Terrific mark and goal.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Derm. This young fellow is probably the best. When he gets a free run at it, he's got a fantastic capacity to take it. Here it is, nobody, free run at it, and he launches and he takes it at the highest point all the time. And it's a great lesson for the young forwards out there. Keeps his eye on the football. Here it is again, coming from the side. Look how high he takes this ball. Stretches out, eyes on the footy, brings it down to ground, and it's a terrific contested mark.
You have to say that's something we didn't see a lot of last year. I think he had a little niggling injury at one stage, but his numbers went down when everyone was expecting them to go up. But it's exciting for Sydney for this year, isn't it? If he can find himself that little bit of space to get a run up, he's capable of so much. Charging through Toby Green with the response. Kicked a nice goal earlier, but can't do it again now.
It's a bit stiff there, Gilesy, on the attempt to make good spoil.
Yeah, the coaching staff there, the Giants. The Swans have turned around the clearances a bit in the last 5 minutes, but they'll be trying to work out now tactically what do we do? Is this the danger area, or are we going okay, Dermot, where they say, no, we may have pre-game planned for dropping a number back late in the third quarter, but we look to be running the game pretty well. I mean, that's probably the decision that they'll make.
They've kicked 5 goals to nil, the Swans, in red time in this game so far.
Well, we have a look at the third quarter here, 2-1 to 2-3. So the way the game's gone, in that, as you call it, the red time, the 20-minute plus mark, Swans seem to power on a bit, but I tend to think that with the couple of weeks less or the month less training, they seem to be a little bit fatigued, and GWS have grown a little bit, and with Tom Scully and the likes running through the middle in this third quarter, I'd almost be inclined to just see how these boys are going to go against the yardstick.
Relentless work from Jack, but this is where the GWS have been so impressive this afternoon. Stood up to so much that have been thrown their way, and they're still hunting and hungry for more. Shaw at the back and then goes sideways, and he found a way out of there to Marty Matner, who's been pretty quiet.
Oh, that's going to hurt. See, that's fatigue. Yeah. That's fatigue also.
Well, Marty's had a very limited preparation. Yeah, he hasn't done a lot of training. I think he's only played a sort of game and a half. So, yeah, he'll be pretty tired at this stage of the game.
Smith, Sumner, who they're now watching closely after he's been able to sneak in for a
couple of shots at it.
Nice shots.
It's certainly an interesting stage from a Giants coaching perspective, because they do look to be running the game out a bit better than the Swans. But I would say pre-game they would have planned to say, look, let's shut the game down late in quarters. So it'll be interesting to see, as we saw a missed tackle there from Benny McGlynn.
He didn't really lay the tackle in the end, did he? Bit of a swing and a miss.
So that's that one again where I said the kick around the corner, because you run away from the tackler. Sometimes you've actually got to straighten the body up, kick it, a drop punt, and cop the tackle, cop the body contact that's going to knock you over, just so you can get the shot away cleanly. Had he done that, he'd have made the distance.
It's a big fly from Hoskin Elliott. Didn't amount to too much. Kennedy again getting involved, and they get out of their throw. Keith. McGlynn trying to get a bit of touch and feel from Plowman, and he got what he was after. Smartly moved away to Hanbury, inviting goal square. Hanbury now, it's all about the bounce and the distance, as it turned out. The ball...
Gee, I thought Adam Goods could have run back to the goal square there, Derm. He sort of... It was always going to be a very tough kick for Hanbury, but Adam kept on leading to him.
McGlynn was pretty keen on a shot for goal there.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Lockie Plowman really got shown some work ethic by Benny McGlynn then in that marking contest on the half-forward flank, and then he shot back to the centre of the ground there and didn't go back with him hard enough. I mean, that's first game footballer as opposed to a seasoned, hardened AFL player.
Mumford, Parker, Cornelio. Oh, was that dropping? No, it wasn't. And that's a goal anyway. Jude Bolton, the old stager, puts it through.
Yeah, another goal of sort of the forward 50 stoppages. They've done really well, the Swans. They haven't played super football going into, but this quarter, that's the second goal they've got from the forward 50. Here it is here, and you can just watch Jude front, pushes off, keeps his eye on the football, keep chasing after. Really good effort from Mumford. He's terrific at ground level, Mumford. And then just again, something out of nothing. We saw Reid kick one earlier on, and really good tackle for the big Ruckman. You love your Ruckman doing that, and well followed up by Jude.
We're talking about first playing last from last year. Remember what I said earlier? Oh, that's not football. The amount of Swans around a situation like that in GWS's forward line compared to the numbers got back there. That's work ethic. That's understanding. That's knowledge of the game. That's your drive to within yourself to push back and get those extra numbers to within 15 metres or so, a stoppage of your own goals.
And even on that, I mean, Shields, without hanging him, you could see Jude kept on going the ball. Shield in that situation has got to be a defender. Doesn't matter whether you're a midfielder or... but he just let Jude go to the football. And again, that's just a natural midfielder will not hunt the ball up in the defence. Sorry, will hunt the ball up.
Yep.
Well, won't stay with his opponent. And that's something Shields got to learn. If you're in the back half of the ground, you've got to stay with your opponent. You can't read the play and say, well, maybe if my man gets it, I'll get the handball. And Jude just hard-nosed for the footy, kept on going after it and kicked the goal.
Again, there's that boundary umpire with the low throw-ins, Derm.
He's got the low dart going.
He throws tracer bullets.
Cornelio, Chesky, slapped his teammate in the face. Nick Smith. Good tackle from Cornelio.
I'll tell you, Ruzi, Mummy's had a big game today, hasn't he? Taking the big contested marks, 12 possessions. There's just that tap out and tackle there. I can see now why you paid him a fortune to leave me.
Well, Mooj, you and I were talking about him before the game, and you asked me about him. And look, he's just a Ruckman that the players love playing with. We saw that not many Ruckmen can go after a ruck contest and make a tackle like he did and creates a goal. They generally love playing with the big fella.
And everybody is generally scared of him out there if you're an opposition player, just because of that reason. You know, when he jumps on you, Derm, talk about 105 kilos. When he drives you in, he's putting knees, elbows, the lot in too.
If he's only got 105 on you, he's got to put the other foot down. He's bigger than 105 Mummy.
And look, you know Moons too, he's actually a good athlete. He's a good endurance athlete, so the ability to run out the game. And now, as we've seen today, the scary thing for the opposition, if he can go forward like he has today and take 2 or 3 contested marks, it makes him even more valuable.
Well, Ruzi, I'll tell you just quickly, he did a 5K rower when he was out at Geelong, and he actually got the best top 5 time in Australian history.
Is that right?
They flock to the goal square, and they all want a piece of it down there. Whitfield, Hampton, Crutch, got him, and that is not going to be a goal, but it's a great result for the Swans.
Yep. And here we go again. If we just really dissect this next stoppage, because this is where they are dangerous. It's just a big hit there by Kieran Jack, made some big ground, but here we go at the stoppage here. And now the Giants have got to be all defenders. Every GWS player's got to defend. Doesn't matter what position on the ground.
Oh, it's a free to Mumford.
I'm confused about this rule.
Same umpire.
Well, is Mumford a forward, or is he... As Pikey was at that contest as well, so you've got 2 Ruckmen.
Matthew Leppard.
So does that mean that both their opposition has to stay a metre away from them?
That's a very good question.
Well, you know what, we probably need some clarity on that as well.
I'm sure the Geesh will give it to us. 30 points is the margin. Mumford missed a couple early. Didn't look too pretty off the boot either. He could have kicked 4 goals.
It could have been more. Here it is here.
So there's 2 lots
now
of
the Ruckman,
Who's who?
Who was the ruckman?
There's 2 Swans going for it and 2...
Well, I would have thought Pikey was the ruckman and Gillum there, but...
You'd think really with Mumford and Giles there.
Do they actually turn it to the umpire and nominate now?
Well, it's a good point, because under that basis, everyone around the contest has to stand a metre apart.
Kennedy. Smith.
Well, so that's very true, because you could actually fall into a situation now where you have 2 of your own ruckmen against 2 of their ruckmen. They could pull away and a rover stand next to another rover, and if he gets bodied by the other rover, he could say, I'm going the ball. The boundary line throw in, it's a free.
Meantime, opportunity for a late goal, and a crucial late goal for the Giants. Oscar Elliott manhandled, and they'll get away.
Just a fumble, really costly fumble. That should have been a goal for the Giants. They should have worked that better.
And Hanbury down the line. They'll have to settle for out of bounds on the wing.
Minute 10. 31 points. Been a good effort from the Giants just to hang in there.
3 goals 2 to 2 goals 4 in favour of Sydney this quarter. Won the quarter by 4 points, the Swannies.
In the back, free kick going to Callum Ward.
Oscar Elliott looks to come off. Moons, he looks a little bit sore on the bench there.
No, I'm just looking at him now. He's just given the old left thigh a bit of a rub. Left thigh, knee, so just expect... I'll keep an eye on him for you, mate.
They all look a bit tired down there at the moment, Moons, which is to be expected, don't they?
Well, it has been quite a tough game. And like you said, first round, it is always the toughest one. It's when you do cramp, it's when you do feel it the most. So Lockie Whitfield's on here.
3 Giants over here.
Goes to Hampton. Clock counts to 30. Toby Green gets buffeted away. And now Richards can't afford to make a mistake on that last line and doesn't. Grundy thumps it out to Good. You can see him just sorting out where the ball's going to land. He marked nonchalant handball over the top. Ben McGlynn, he's off to the races through the middle. Mumford had to really lean back down and gather his thoughts. Goods, his countdown clock is going to hurt them here because unless they can take a mark, and they can't, the siren sounds. For 3/4 time, the struggle continues at ANZ Stadium. The Swans have won the quarter, but the Giants remain competitive. The margin 31 points at 3/4 time. So Sydney 12-9-81. They kicked 3-2 in that quarter, and the Giants are 7-8-50. Coming up, another big game, and it's a challenge for the Gold Coast Suns at home at Metricon Stadium as they play host to the Saints. Can they cause an upset in round 1? Who knows what's happening in round 1? There's plenty going on. Stay with us. For Kevin Sheed as he started his final year as coach, but it looked like he'd have the job ahead as the Swans appeared too strong and too tall early. Shane Mumford, the focal point up forward. Into the second quarter after it had been 4-0, and sharp shooting is everything in footy. Accuracy made a big difference at the start of the second as Green and Smith snapped truly, and suddenly the Giants had a different look about them. They were really taking it up to the Swans. Enter Kieran Jack, the co-captain of the Swans, took his cue, kicked a couple of very important goals just to keep the Giants at bay going into half-time. And in the third term, despite the resilient Giants, the skill of Sam Reid, first of all on the snap, and then thrilling us in the air, proved significant. A great grab, and the Swans able to slightly increase their lead. The margin between the two sides now is 31 points as we get set for the final term. A couple of things you wanted to point out. Ruzi, we'll let you do that. The Swans 12-9-81. The Giants are 7-8-50 here at ANZ Stadium.
Yeah, just look, when you get to a defensive stoppage, you've got every player's got to have a defensive mind. And this is not the hang shield. He's a natural midfielder. Just watch him here, Jude. Now, he starts off as a defensive player, does a really good job. He follows him around, but then he just takes a little bit of a breather. You can't afford to take a breather in your defensive 50, and he picks it up and kicks a goal. So I think that's what makes the Swans so hard to score against at the other end. They all have a defensive mindset when they go to a defensive stoppage. Shields, genuine midfielder, had a terrific game, but he'll need to just put that in his kit bag. So when he's in the defensive end, he just needs to know, okay, I'm going to lock Jude Bolton down. When Jude picks it up, bang, I'm going to be there, I'm going to tackle him straight away, not give him that 1 or 2 metres. And Josh Kennedy's been a pretty good player too, Derm.
21 contested possessions out of the 24. It just seems to stand up through the tackles and make sure that those handballs hit the mark like that.
Yeah, right on cue. Bangs it up to centre half forward. And they all gather.
There you go. That's that defensive mindset you're talking about. Now, he's a forward, but he's put the clamps on. It looks like Tommy Buggy had under him then. It's a great kick.
It was a good kick.
Good movement.
Mark taken by Patton from the Kennedy kick. Work the angles. Decides to go out wide initially, where it looks as if the sub's been made. Taylor Adams finds Tom Scully inside the 50. So a good start here for this final term.
You're right, Hutto. Huskin Elliott has got the red vest on. His left leg. He was limping the whole time in the huddle. He just could not put any pressure on that left leg. So that move's been made.
Tom Scully, 16 disposals. Still a young man. Maybe marked reasonably hard because of the change of clubs. He's only 21.
Yeah, he's still a young guy. Hutto, you're right. I mean, he probably does get marked hard, but he's still a developing player. He works really hard, and by all accounts, he's a terrific young kid. So he's certainly one that you think will improve significantly this year for the Giants.
Elite pressure player. He does work hard. There's a good mark taken by Mike Pike as he gathers his thoughts and sends it up to Adam Goods against Moore, but Hampton's going to be the man that came into frame, takes the mark.
Benny McGlynn, his opponent at that occasion, just ran directly to the front of the pack thinking, I'll let somebody else contest this and I'll crumb it.
It didn't happen. There's a free kick going to Sumner, trying to restrict the influence of Reece Shaw, but 19 disposals from Shaw.
But if you look inside, Courtney Hampton, he's near Adam Goods. If we get the wide shot here, he's got to be, there he is in the middle of the screen. He's got to run on from there just to create. The players have to pull back away from the man on the mark. He's one of the backmen who can run.
Bit of kick to kick at the moment at the start of this quarter. Some tired old legs out there.
Yeah, I think it's going to be coming down a bit of composure in this last quarter and a bit of smarts and ball use.
Mumford did well to get a fist in, but more.
Another kick.
It is like kick to kick in the park at the moment, isn't it?
Lunchtime, isn't it, at the moment?
Now see Patton's effort there. Grundy held him off. See Patton just gets blocked and just doesn't even... See, if you're going to get blocked like that, you might as well put a knee into the bloke's rump.
Well, it's been a good lesson for Patton today. I mean, Moon's touched on it before, that from ground level you could see that Grundy has been putting really good body pressure onto Patton before the ball gets there, and he's not allowing Patton to get to where he wants to go. So it's a good lesson for him.
Kennedy storming forward again for the Swans.
That is as good a disguised kick for touch as you'll get.
He aligned himself to the middle of the ground, but kicked the ball on the angle.
If that was in the middle of the ground, that'd be deliberate.
Yeah.
And Ruzi, you also touched on it earlier. I think, Derm, you might have said it as well. He doesn't move that first movement. He doesn't move quick enough to make sure that Grundy doesn't get that body on him.
He doesn't initiate the movement. He reacts to the players up the field. He'll get the hang of that, and he'll get better at that. But that's just one thing that stands out at the moment.
Lockie Whitfield, 12 disposals on debut. The #1 draft pick's done a couple of impressive things. Without learning all the time. O'Keefe, they're outnumbered back there.
Oh, mark
He could have Davis, but
well, if you get your two hands to it like a spoil, you got to mark that.
McVeigh sort of trying to lock it in and tackle at the same time.
So I remember, Ruzi, you were coming from behind. You used to try and mark him.
McGlynn, he just summed it up beautifully. That's classic small forward.
But in all seriousness, Dan, that's why I didn't mind defenders marking.
Yeah.
I mean, it's because you look at what Davis does here. If you can get your two hands to it, you've got to mark that football, because you don't mark the ball and all of a sudden McGlynn kicks the goal. So some coaches sort of say, no, you got to spoil as a defender. I completely disagree. If you can get two hands to the ball, a la Leo Barry in the 2005 grand final, that ball goes to ground in the 2005 grand final, and there's every chance the Eagles win that game of football.
Summed it up very well, Ben McGlynn. Good player, very unfortunate. Got injured at the wrong time of the year. Would have been heartbreaking for him. And a ripping bloke.
Josh Kennedy had 23 contested possessions. The record is 30, by the way, by Andrew Swallow a couple of years ago. Taylor Adams in there. Ward got it to Green. Quick thinking, quick kicking. But again, Grundy was terrific. They gather on the wing. There's plenty of giants there who should be able to dictate terms here, Plowman. Couldn't quite hit the target, but Ward good enough. Trelaw got inside, and so did Shields. And he has.
He's a good kick. He's competent.
Yeah, good response. Goal for the Swans. Could have easily opened the floodgates, but it just shows you the resilience that the Giants have got. Shields there.
Trelaw's handball here couldn't hit the target, but he just knew he had to put it, because had he gone for the target directly, it would have got smothered. Clever enough to put it into space so he could run onto it. Really clever handball by Adam Trelaw. And as I say, Shields very competent as a player.
Another 20-year-old. Averaged 19 disposals in his 12 games last year. Another pressure player as well.
How are they looking, Moons? Are they? Is there? I mean, they're all looking tired, but is there absolute complete fatigue in them, or have they still got a bit in the tank?
No, I still think they've got a little bit in the tank here. I'm just watching Moore. I didn't quite know that Moore had that much pace either, Derm. I was watching him in the third quarter. He took off after Goodsey or someone. Geez, he's got some pace. But no, they look okay down here at the moment. But I think, like Rizzy's been saying all night, it's the last 5, maybe probably 10 minutes into this quarter where you'll probably see them really drop off.
Brogan. Well, Roberts-Thompson got bowled over. And that meant that Giles is... Oh, so it'll be 50 now.
Ran through it. It's against... Is it against Reid Shaw?
Yep.
Too close. Even though Giles kind of swung out there.
And Reese was actually running through with another player as well.
Yeah,
so that's an interesting one, that.
Razor.
Because you're right, it looked like
Giles
swung around.
Yeah.
Just watching in the coach's box there, guys. Johnny Longmire's not too happy at the moment, Rizzy.
No, I'm sure he wouldn't be too happy.
I heard Reid then say Reid Shaw ran past and ran through the protected area. You have to be within, what is it? It's 3 metres now. You have to be within your opponent if he runs through the protected area and you're following him. He appeared to be within 3.
Yeah, he did, definitely.
He popped it through. It's back to 4 goals.
Yeah, we'll probably see this one again here. We saw Giles mark the football sort of 60 or 70 metres out. Here it is here. Now, you could very well argue Cameron was running into an open goal anyway, so you could very well argue... I mean, he's actually played on there.
You know what? He's probably not.
No, I don't disagree with that. But he's actually played on. He tried to actually, so that the early call would have been play on. I think they would have kicked the goal anyway because Cameron was running into an open goal.
The joy of being the premiership coach doesn't really last into round 1 necessarily, does it? When free kicks and 50 metres are given away.
As good as your last game.
24 points the margin. Giants creeping closer with a couple of goals. And they look hungry for more.
Gee, that's good evasive skills there. Just turned inside Whitfield. And
Hampton and Taylor Adams. Suddenly they're at 50, but that's where it ends. Teddy Richards stretching out. Careful kick from Grundy. Across to Nick Smith. Building. Pike took the initiative early with the body contact, but well done from Gillum. And this time Davis just gets it out of there after the wing, and it lands on the chest of Sumner, who's been pretty good. 10 disposals, kicked 1, could have kicked 2.
So we get a 1 out here, Chelsea.
Grundy came at the last moment. Richards just looking for something, found it in Ryan O'Keefe. Now the sub's on for the Swans as well. It's Armstrong, very late with the sport.
I don't know how to seen a game down where there's so many hit and hopes in a game.
Yeah,
there's so many just scrubby bomb kicks to a contest. It's actually quite amazing in the modern era where you know, coaches talk about controlling the tempo and making sure you hit targets. Been a lot of just, here is another one.
Yeah.
Just scrubby old punt kicks.
Liam knew that Adam Goods was coming from behind. He thought, oh, I could get creamed.
Goes for Ward, who slides into the mark, and he'll go. He bolts. There's no one in the square. And unfortunately, the kick had too much on it for Patton.
That's just a classic Grundy Patton contest. You know, probably right. Probably wasn't a great kick, but all day, Grundy's had it over him in that body contest.
Hutto, just quickly, you mentioned Armstrong has come on. It's Rampy, the one that's come off, that's been subbed off for Sydney.
Okay. Dane Rampy was good, particularly in the first half. Probably been pretty quiet since then. 7 disposals on debut.
There's at 24 points. The Swans wouldn't want a couple of goals to sneak into the GWS here.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Well, there's some young legs and they're mature young blokes like Tom Scully and the likes. It could get a little bit iffy there.
And there are some, Nick Smith we can see running across. He hasn't had a huge pre-season. Marty Matner hasn't had a huge pre-season. Mummy hasn't had a huge pre-season. So it is a bit of a challenge for both teams now to run the game out.
Cameron's kick comes unstuck. Armstrong, speculative handball. Good stuff from Treloar again. Adams. Green hasn't been his day.
No, Keith's not going to get beaten in those types.
Yeah, Green's had 10 possessions, been well beaten by...
It's on behind.
She's on here. Treloar and Milcheski are just having a bit of a dust-up down here.
Green averaged 28 disposals last year, so he's learned a bit today, I'm sure. There's 50.
But Treloar got tackled by Milcheski, and I told you, Moons, he's got a little bit of the angry tablets in him.
You could just see the elbow just getting swayed around there a little bit, Derm. I loved it.
He's gone to Nick. Oh, who's it now? Parker has given him a hug.
McLean.
Oh, well read.
And he's worked the angles nicely, Gillum.
Hasn't had a great game, Steve Gillum.
Let's see what their attitude is, whether there is that belief that they can worry the Swans in the last 10 or 15 minutes of this game.
Well, Swans have got numbers back, so if they can utilise this type of kick and not give it up.
Kennedy had the zig and zag to eventually get clear enough to drive it up towards Cameron. Scully, good desperation.
Great effort by Lewis Roberts-Thompson. Great spoil and followed up by a tackle.
McVeigh, as they dish it around. Grundy across to Jetta. Had to find himself a little bit of space. Crowd love it every time he goes near the footy. He's had a quiet day. Spears it in looking for McGlynn.
He hasn't had a great day, Jetty. You're right. He's really quietish. Very, very quiet.
Confusion all over the face there of Taylor Adams. Had to go back and find Gillum. They're being rounded up here a bit, deep in defence.
No.
And some interference. And it's going to GWS. Well, that was unnecessary by the Swans.
They control the area.
Sumner's footy. You heard the call from the umpire, and again,
get that right.
Content to go deep into defence.
I don't mind this though if they can go on from here.
Yes, and this kick here, that's a critical kick. Yep. It's good to switch it as long as you can get it back out the other side. It's starting to come back this way, so they've opened it up a bit, spread the Swans out.
Back to Treloar, to Ward. The drives for Toby Green. This time he is clear enough to take the mark.
Now, Patton's only 10 metres ahead of the man on the mark here, so there's not much of a target. Brogan makes position upfield. Good effort.
Didn't have much in his bootstraps, though. And it was Goods and Grundy collaborating through the middle. Jack was going to hand it off to Goods instead. He handballed to Ben McGlynn. Jack says, keep going. You've got to get close enough to be able to land one.
Oh, he dropped it.
He was trying to hit the little left foot of it.
There's no one there to kick it to.
In the end, Davis showed the initiative, kicked it back into the middle. Roberts-Thompson spinning through. It's on at the moment here. Tired bodies. Who's got the willpower? That's high contact.
Umpire off the ball.
Yeah.
Razor called it from 55 metres away.
Under the rules now, that is a free.
Yep.
Hampton takes the angles down to Brogan. Again, there's not much there for him.
Oh.
Quite all the tricks.
Pikey's doing party tricks.
One-hander. It's a mistake fest now, Hutto, isn't it, really? It's just, and this is what we talked about three-quarter time. It's just a team that's going to have that little bit of composure moving forward. Both teams look like they're pushing up the ground but unable to get back inside forward 50, Derm. So generally, the last player back is always an opposition player.
Well, it's got to find a different method, don't they, to get there at the moment. It's whatever they're doing isn't working. Jetta, that's a little better.
Yeah.
A lot better, actually.
Well, one of the few times that the Swans have lowered their eyes going forward and actually hit a target. Generally, most of their forward 50 entries have been long bombs to the top of the square. So, Jetta, that's why I like it in Jetta's hands, because generally he makes good decisions and he can hit a target.
Moons?
I was just saying Hanbury was just sprinting to the goal square there, but Jack just didn't bother to have a look around. He's obviously very confident backing himself here.
I think he's A, confident, B, wanted a bit of a break. So he got both. And he went back and laid on it and put it through.
Yeah, this is going to be the difference in this last 15 minutes. The team that can control the football, a lot of mistakes, a lot of tired players, and Lewis Jetta hasn't had much of an impact on the game, but this is why they like the ball in his hands. Good handball by Adam Goods to get it out there. Takes him on, Lewis Jetta. Nothing on long, so he hits a target. Most of the time today, the Swans are just bombing it long to the top of the square. And then I think that's Kieran Jack's third goal for the day. So he's had a pretty productive day as his first day as captain.
He's had a terrific afternoon, Kieran Jack, into the evening. 24 disposals, 3 goals, 8 contested possessions. And you talked about Jetta. I think over 50% of his kicks into 50 resulted in a goal last year. Ruzi, and I guess part of that is his good skills, but part of that is often there was a one on none almost, wasn't there? And with the fast break, they were able to effect. Shield slams it down.
Now, watch for Patton's second effort here. This is what's most important.
But again, that early body contact, Derm, just gets Patton out of the way just a little bit. For a guy that's such a big guy, there's another trip. We saw Scully got reported for a trip earlier in the game. So
Kieran Jack again.
Okay, got a little knee in the back there on the way through.
Keith still watching Toby Green. Trelaw.
That's a bit high.
His initial thoughts then was just to play on and run, and he thought, you know what? I think we better just have a bit more of a breather and wait till there's something to go to. Set Jetta up though. Shield takes the mark.
That's a horrible kick by Kieran Jack.
And he just goes past Jetta, but he didn't get completely past him. And inch by inch they go forward. That's how you spoil. If you're going to spoil.
Yes. Lee Shields, when he looked up, Jetta on the mark. Surely he thought after 2 paces, that's as good as I'm going to get.
Yeah, it wasn't a good move to play on, but then not a good move to take 6 steps instead of 4, I reckon. You're right.
Pike drags it down. Kennedy again. Bolton, just a momentary fumble. It could be a costly one. Canelio.
I mean, even the simplest thing now is Hutto's difficult. I mean, that kick, fumble from Jude Bolton. Was it Caniglio? Just a poor kick. Yeah, that was almost a standard regulation 40-metre drop punt at goal.
Yeah, well, this was for the when they made the changes last year to the rules with the sub. This is what everyone said would happen, that it would just be lots of mistakes late in games. And it didn't really eventuate to the degree that some people thought it might last year, but it has tonight.
That's to be more. He got the cannon. Remember when he lay on the ground in the I think it was right in front of you, Moons. He got a cannon from behind, and that was the back of the head of the player in front of him that gave him that mouse on the eye.
Now Hampton versus Parker. Duck back, slip through.
So he can do that beautifully. Now he's got to sum up where he kicks it and to best advantage.
Shield fends off Armstrong, gets himself into the clear.
Yeah, that's a ripping kick.
Patton in his sights.
That is a really, really good kick.
I say he's got the ball. He's very competent for a young man. Shields. He works hard in the gym. He works hard on his fitness, and he is. I call him a really competent kick. He's not naturally fluent. He's not naturally quick of the drop of the ball to boot, but he just gets it done, and he's very, very competent.
Jeez, he's a good kick for guys.
Yeah, everything, small steps, mate. Everything's in line.
Let's have a listen to what Leon Cameron has to say about his great young charge.
Yeah, look, it's his first real pre-season. It's been well documented about his knee injury when he first arrived at the footy club, and so he stepped in and had 4 or 5 months of really good training. With his progression, he's such a big boy. He's going to need another 1 or 2 good pre-seasons, before he actually hits, the top of his game. But we couldn't be, pleased with the way he's approached the pre-season, approached the NAB Cup.
Jonathan Patton, he's learned a lot, but he's still been able to contribute, even though he's lowered his colours overall.
Well, I think the good thing about it, Hutto, if you're a beautiful kick for goal, you don't need a lot of possessions. If he comes out of this game kicking 3 points or 1 goal, 2, you say that Grundy slaughtered him. Yeah. But the fact that he's kicked 3 goals means he's able to contribute to his team and is a valuable player, even though he's lost most one-on-one body contests.
Free kick to Reid.
Well, if he gets 1 more, 1 a quarter, 4 goals a game, and you're an invaluable type of forward.
Mumford just quick enough to get it to Goods, who strolls on in.
Yeah, the big forwards has really worked for Sydney today, Derm. The big forwards of Pike and Mumford, even though I think it was Pike didn't mark that football, but they've caused real dramas down there. For a Sydney team that's ball use hasn't been great today, but here it is again, great contest, and the crumb from the big fella. So yeah, the combination of Pike, Mumford, both have had really, really good games today, but it's been a really important role they've played and created and kicked multiple goals.
What have you made of Adam Goods' performance today, Dern?
Once again, he used the word competent. I don't think Goodsy's slipped himself completely, but every time he gets the ball, it's phenomenal with a bloke such as Adam Goods, the size he is and the pace he's retained at his age. It's Dustin Fletcher-like. He just shouldn't be allowed to keep that much pace at that age, Ruzi.
Yeah, he's still very, very agile and very, very quick.
And here's Plowman escorting it over.
Most blokes are 100 kilos, 6'4.5", 6'5". By 26, 27, they've been bashed around enough that pace starts to come off. If anything, over the last 2 years, I reckon he's learned how to utilise his pace better. Now that bearing up, I threw that in on true centre wing, and it went 7 metres to one team's advantage.
Well, last year was the first time Adam Goods didn't reach 20 games in his career. He did play 19. Kicked 37 goals, 19.
He played one really important one at the end, though.
Oh, he did, yeah. Unbelievable for him to stay on and played a critical role in the grand final.
Smith, there's a shove on Giles.
Yeah, that's a push no matter what rule they are. That's a good old-fashioned shove.
So Giles. Not a lot going on down there in terms of players moving, and Sumner should have goal, and he has.
Again, just a simple, tired error, and the young fella, he's done really well today. He's taken advantage of some skill errors, but he's also played really well in his own right. We can see it here. Shaw just a clean drop there at the end of the game. Clean drop and a fall over, and the young fella, look, he's certainly got an innate ability to know where the ball is going, and it's been a really productive game for him.
At this point in time, it is the best quarter of football statistically that GWS have had against the Swans. 4 goals, 2 to 3 goals, but coupled with taking the foot off the accelerator, the Sydney Swans, a month less pre-season under their belt, you expect them to come off the pace a little bit with 30 minutes to go. But well done by GWS. They're sticking to it. And if they can win the quarter, the last quarter, they go into next round, we're saying, well, we matched it with the reigning premier as we saw the game out.
Yeah, I agree. I think the game has probably panned out almost as you'd expected. Swans definitely underdone. Definitely we're going to struggle to run the game out. And the Giants were definitely going to be fitter from last year. And it was just a matter of how much the Giants had improved in their fitness level. We know they've got good skills. We know they've got good young players. And the scary thing for the other opposition as well is the Swans are going to improve significantly, obviously, over the course of the season.
Now Chesty with a probing ball for Hanbury. No one in the square, so he knows that if he can get the angles,
Downfield. He's going to take it from where he is because he kicked it out in the full.
Downfield means he's going to have to take it from the third row of the stand. Hutto?
Yeah.
Clever, though. Just worked it to his advantage, keeping it in.
Yeah.
It's Taylor Adams, the sub, who's just got a bit of...
He's got a bit of size in Taylor Adams for like a 5'9", 5'10" type bloke. He's really powerfully put together. He's on the mark there.
Got a bit of aggression stored up for the day when you're the sub too. You come on and you just want to hit anything that moves to some degree, I think, and let it all out. So, Daniel Hanbury got some lovely encouragement there from the GWS supporter behind him. Tough angle from there to try and work it back. It's not a bad effort. Crowd of 23,690 here at ANZ Stadium.
It's amazing. That boy on screen right there, we look at certain players and we say, when they've hung around long enough, we say, oh, that player's an A grade, that's elite. Now, in that scheme of things, he probably hasn't been on the scene long enough, but I guarantee everyone who coaches against Daniel Hanbury says, that boy's elite. That young man there is an A grade.
Well, his grand final was A grade, that's for sure. He had a super grand final and really elevated himself again.
His whole final series really was terrific, wasn't it? Back to back. Trust the left boot to hit the man on the chest in Gillum.
See, now that this whole wing is wide open and they just haven't got anyone with enough run in the leg still to hit that wing. Now, Patton makes a lead to that side, but it's all choked up, so they tend to go back the other way. That's what they, as a key forward, is gut running late in the game. You hit that wing and that keeps coming on and you're able to turn it and go on again.
Smith and Shield. And see that the development really can't you? Smith, Shield and Canelio just gained that extra 5 or 10% on last year, which will make a big difference in games. McGlynn just had time to size it up and get it right, he does. And the Swans get a late one, and it's his second.
Yeah, just a turnover on the far wing. I think it was Cameron that took it, didn't really know who was behind him and played on and got himself in a little bit of a trouble, and there was a loopy handball.
Treloar received the handball,
was it? Yeah. And then got tackled and then went down the other end.
There he is.
Here it is here. Here's the tackle. Just brought it to ground, and then Hanbury, just another hit and hope, but this time it actually landed in the on the chest of McGlynn. McGlynn's worked really, really hard throughout the game. Continued to work up and down the ground really well.
Beards are back.
They certainly are. Margin is 30 now with just under 2 minutes to go.
Now that's accidental there.
That's an interesting one, isn't it? He went to ground and slid in and actually hit the guy in the leg.
The leg going past clipped him. Geez, Brogues has had a few crumbing efforts today and not the greatest at thinking his way through the tight situation, Brogues. He's a right smile, but it did hit his foot. I reckon he's been stiffed there.
I reckon if he hit his foot, it shouldn't be a free kick, but he bounced off Kieran Jack like a pinball and then got collared by Marty Matner, who's one of the best tacklers in AFL footy. Marty Matner.
He's good.
Made a critical one last year in the grand final.
Shovels up and kicks it up to the wing. So it's 16-10-106 against 11-10-76. 3 goals to Kieran Jack.
Yeah, he gets a snick on it.
He did snick it.
Snickometer.
Snickometer.
Yep.
We need hot spot on the footy.
Yep. It's
Patton. Roberts Thompson. Got the call in from Marty Matner. And sure, you could see that he was straining every senior, and then he's given away a free. Just a little unsettled, the kick came in.
He's the one in the centre we talked about before.
The hip gets him.
Yeah, the hip.
Thigh hip.
It's an interesting one, though. It's at 50-50 now, isn't it? Really, he went to ground and almost slid in.
He went to ground following the footy.
Following the footy, yeah.
You know, that's where I agree with you, Richie. Our game, we can't make up rules to stop every injury.
Yeah.
There's no offside rule in our game, so people are going to collide. We're going to have people occasionally get injured. That ain't great.
Sumner sprays another, and Grundy.
Yeah, you're right, Doom. Just to clarify that, I think that's a free kick to the guy going for the ball. Make no mistake about that. But we are seeing at the moment guys going for the football that aren't getting penalised. So it's just getting the balance right. No one wants to see a free kick like Gary Rowan, but... an injury like Gary Rowan, but injuries are part of the game. Supportive of the new rule, but let's just make sure we're always protecting the guy going for the ball.
And that's where it will end, with the Sydney Swans winning by 30 points. The reigning premiers begin the new season with a really hard-fought victory over their new neighbours in Sydney. If there was a battle of the bridge, it's been won by the Swans tonight by 30 points, 16-10-106 to 11-10-76 in front of 23,500 on a warm Sydney afternoon and early evening. And they showed some signs of fatigue as the game went on both sides. It was a hard-fought victory, Rosie.
Yeah, look, absolutely. And I say this respectfully to the Giants. I don't mean this disrespect. The Swans are probably fortunate they were playing a young team tonight, Dermot, that wasn't as fit. When I say wasn't as fit, it's only had one pre-season or two pre-seasons. Has developed, because the Swans clearly are underdone. The Swans clearly haven't got the run in their legs that they will have later in the year, or they did have. And that's as a result of playing deep into finals, winning a premiership, starting 4 weeks later. But we're also seeing a Giants team that's another pre-season advanced. And the good thing for the Giants, I think you mentioned before, I think it ended 4-2 to 4-1 in the last quarter. So they've won a last quarter, which is really important. So they're developing nicely. We knew they've got some really good skill packages, and they're moving the ball well, but probably in a sense a reasonably predictable game. I thought good result for the Giants, and John Longmire would be happy to get off to a win in round 1 of 2013 after winning a premiership last year.
I agree with that. I think the Giants come out of this and say, yeah, we can get some wins on the board this year. Sydney came out, did what they had to do after a long break off the pre-season. They get 4 points on the board. And Moons is with one of the Sydney Swans players, but a bloke who found a fair bit of the footy, hey, Moons?
Yeah, we're down here with Joshy Kennedy, and Josh, it was a great win, obviously, to start the season, but they made you work for it.
Absolutely. We knew it was going to be a tough contest, and they certainly proved that. They never really gave us an inch, and we had to keep fighting, and they kept coming back and back. But fortunately for us, just able to sort of keep that 30-point margin throughout the course of the game.
Now, Dermy just mentioned you did find a bit of the ball. I think you had 28, had 24 contested. Is there any chance you might just go and find an easy kick sometime, mate?
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what I didn't do. I caught Dermy coming in with a double scoop choc ice cream on the way in. He didn't see me, but I caught him, mate. He'd been sprung. So
we asked him for a lick too, and no bloody chance, let me tell you.
No, it was all good, and as you said, they made us work for it, and certainly felt like a really tough contest in there.
And just quickly, the Battle of the Bridge during the week, you guys weren't too happy about that one?
No, we weren't. It's all part and parcel of trying to build this game up. But look, it's a really good turnout tonight, and obviously a really competitive game, and it's only going to be more and more competitive each time we play. So hopefully we can really build something.
Well, Joshy, great start to the year, mate, and good luck for the rest of the cup.
Very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Moons. And as we go to you, Hutto, to throw to the break, I remember that young man there at 3 years of age flicking around the Hawthorn Football Club rooms, and he was cheeky then, and he's not getting any better now.
No, fair enough. I thought the double scoop was completely unnecessary. Single would have been fine.
Had a flake in it as well.
It is a pretty warm summer's day. The Swans defeat the Giants by 30 points at ANZ Stadium.